Hi there everyone, this is Jennifer Biedermann from Biedermann Jewelry. Welcome back to another tutorial. This tutorial is all netting, and I had a request from a viewer, Melissa, she saw me measuring another bracelet with this bracelet. She asked me if I can make this. And so Melissa, this video is for you. So I promised that I would do it, and I'm doing it today. So I have three different variations of the netting. You can do it as wide as you want. This is the netting on the back we're going to learn how to do. And this is a little bit narrower. Okay, so we're going to be learning how to put these crystals on and put them on diagonals and do the netting on the back. This is exactly the same thing. I just reversed the colors and I used different beads. And as you can see, this one looks, well, I used crystals here, but it looks a little darker because of the beads I'm using in the back. So if you use lighter beads, it won't be as dark in the front. But you have to play around with the colors of your beads. So the materials you're going to need for this. You're going to need some 11-0 seed beads. Here, let me just get them in the camera. You're going to need some 11-0s. Ooh, here we go. And you're going to need some 8s. Okay, so 11s and 8s, and you'll need some 15s. Okay, you will need a size 10 beading needle. You'll need a width of thread. Now the thread you're going to have to add to this project. So just cut off a piece that's manageable for you to work with because you will be adding. And what else are you going to need? You're going to need some crystals. So for the center piece here, you can use bicones, you can use rounds, you can use fire polish, you can use whatever you want. For the middle part, I used a 4mm bicone on this one, but for this project, I'm using some fire polish beads. I'm using this crystal AB, 4mm for the middle, and for the sides here, I'm using a 3mm, and I'm using a contrast color, which is it's a 3mm. Okay. And you will need a clasp. Now you can make your own clasp. I have other tutorials on how to make a toggle clasp with beads, but with this one I'm using a 3-strand or 4-strand clasp here. This is a 3-strand. I think I brought up the 4-strand for this. It'll fit. So I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful bracelet. And there's so many different color options. You can make a bunch. And just, okay, so get your materials together and we're going to get started. So I've strung on a series of beads. You're going to start by putting a stop bead on the end of your thread, and you're going to leave a little bit of a tail. You're going to pick up an 8 and 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s, an 8, and finish with 2 11s. This is 5 sets of 1 8 and 2 11s. Okay. Now, we're not going to pick up any beads here. We're going to skip this 8, and so through this 8. Now this is going to be very loosey-goosey to start, and this is important to keep your tension with netting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, see the stop bead just pushed up? I'm just going to push it down again and make that nice and tight as I can. So now I made myself a little loop here. Now I'm going to pick up my second, or my series of beads, which is 2 11s, 1 8, and 2 11s. And you will skip this 8, and you're going to go through the last 8, making sure that you don't go through that stop bead and pull through. That's essentially the weave, the netting weave. Now I'm flipping it around so that I can, because I work better this way, working my way up. So now I have my stop bead this way. Just a second, let me finagle my way here. So now we have this. Now we're making our turn, and we're picking up the same set of beads. We're picking up 2 11s, 1 8, 2 11s. The bead that you're going to be going through is the bead that's sticking out. So we have a sticky outie here, we have an innie, and we have a sticky outie here. So we're going to go through the one that's sticking out, and you're going to sew through. So we've made a second part of our netting. Pick up 2 11s, 1 8, 2 11s. That's all you're picking up. We're not changing it, okay? And we're going to be sewing through the next 8 that's sticking out. And you'll pull through, flip it, so my stop bead is on the other side. And I'm always going to take my stop bead, push it down, make sure everything is nice and tight. So now we have this. We're making our turn, picking up 2 11s, 1 8, 2 11s. This is essentially the weave, guys. It's very easy. We are going into the next 8 sticking out. The only thing I'm going to stress here is please pay attention to your tension. Making sure everything is always nice and snug. Pick up 2 11s, an 8, 2 11s, sew through the next 8 sticking out. Ooh, my thread's getting a little bit tangled here. Okay. I'm going to check my tension again. I'm just going to get my tail out of there. I'm going to pull my stop bead. Make sure everything stays nice and tight. Flip my work and continue on. You're going to do this until you get the length that you want. For the clasp, if you're using that bar clasp that I showed you at the beginning, it's a 1/2 inch. So, and if you're using a toggle, consider it to be about an inch and a bit. So you're going to pick up the next set of beads, and you're going to go through the next 8. And you're going to do this to the length that you want. And remember that once you have the length, okay, once we start putting the crystals in, this will shrink up a little bit. And it'll probably shrink up to about a 1/2 inch. So keep that in mind. And if it has shrunk and you've already put the beads on and it's not to your length you want, we can always add more netting at the end. Okay, so don't worry about that. So continue flipping your work, pick up your beads, and continue the netting. So 2 11s, 1 8, and 2 11s. Now you can also make a necklace out of this, but not in this netting. I'll do another tutorial for the necklace because it needs to drape. It's got to turn a little bit, but we'll do that in another tutorial. So 2 11s, 1 8, 2 11s. That is all you're doing throughout the entire process. Now, keep pulling, check your tension, and I'm going to do a little bit here. I'm not going to make the whole bracelet, okay, because I've made many, many, many of these bracelets. I don't need another one. So I'll do a little bit, and then I'm going to show you what to do next with the crystals, okay? So see you back soon. Okay, so I did my little strip here. You've finished your strip, and we're coming out. We just put it on our last 2 11s, an 8 and 2 11s, and I'm coming out of this 8. Now we're going to start putting our 4mm crystals in the middle. So they're going to be going 1, 2, 3, like this, all the way down. So I need to position my needle to be exiting this 8. So I'm going to sew my way around like this to come out of there. So we are going to sew through the series of beads following our thread path. And we'll just be zigzagging all the way down. And in the process, we'll be reinforcing our piece. And up through this 8 here. Okay, so we're picking up our first crystal, or 4mm. So 1 11, 1 4mm, 1 11. Coming out of this 8, going through this 8. And what I want to do is I'm simply going to go up to the right to prepare for my turn downwards. Okay. So just set that in there, and I'm going to sew up through these 2 11s, the 8, and get my way back around. So I'm going to turn. Up this 8, and now I'm going to add a second 4mm. Sorry. So pick up an 11, a 4mm, an 11, and now we're going to sew up through this 8, and I'm gonna go towards the left in a diagonal coming out of this 8 here to get myself into position to add my 3rd crystal or fire polish coming out of this 8 here, and add my 3rd. So an 11, a 4, an 11 coming out of this 8 right here. And I'm going to sew up through this 8, and I'm going to lean over to the right here diagonally and come out directly here. And you're just going to do that all the way down the middle of your netting. So I'm turning, position myself to come up through this 8. And pick up an 11, a 4, an 11, go up through this 8, and go to the left diagonally so I can make my turn. So do that all the way down your strip until all your netting is filled up with these center crystals, or if you're using bicones or fire polish or whatever you're using. And then I'm going to show you how to put the second set of beads, which is a 3mm along the side. Okay, so I'll meet you back when I'm done my little piece, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that you've completed your entire strip of netting, putting the center crystals on, we're coming to a point where we're going to reach our stop bead here. Don't take it off yet. What you want to do is reinforce this. So you're going to go in. So you just put on this last crystal, you're coming out of this 8, and we're going to turn around as usual. We're going to come up through here and then through the 8. And now your piece is secure, so now you can take this stop bead off if you want at this point. and we need to add a crystal here. So I need to move my way down and then up again. So I'm going to move down. I'm going to go up here. And up through this 8 right here. Okay. Wait a second now. No, I'm not adding any crystals here. Wait a second. Yes, I am. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just looking at my piece. Just the last one that we put on looks a little bit funny, but it's all going to be, it'll all work out. Okay, coming up here, and I'm coming out of this one up here. And I just pulled my needle off my thread. Okay, now here is my tail, here is my thread. I am going to tie a knot here. Or what you can do is put your needle on your tail and weave it through. But I'm just going to tie a knot, a couple of knots. Okay, so here's your strip. I don't know why it's looking yellow in the camera, but it must be the time of day. All right, so now I need to rethread my needle, but I'm coming out of this 8. I'm going to stay there, and then I'm going to show you. Just let me thread my needle, and then we're going to put these other crystals on. So get your 3 millimeters out, and we'll start doing the sides. Threaded my needle. So now I'm coming out of this 8. I'm going to be picking up a 15, a 3 millimeter of a different color. You can use the same color if you want, and a 15. Coming out of this 8, I'm going to be going up through this 8, and I'm going to just do that all the way down. Now see how that puts it on a diagonal? Like that? An 11, sorry, a 15, a 3 millimeter, a 15, coming out of this 8, going up through this 8. So you can just hold your piece like this and do this all the way down. 15, 3 millimeter, 15, coming up out of this 8, going up through this 8. $15, 3 millimeter, 15, up through this 8. Oops, just the 8, not the 11. Now this side, these side crystals goes pretty quick because you don't have to maneuver your way around the piece. You're just going through the next 8 over on the side. Up this 8. $15 to 3 millimeter, 15, up this 8. 15, a 3 millimeter, a 15, up this 8. And then the last one we're putting on the end, and then this 8. Okay. Now what you can do here, okay, is grab your clasp that you're using. You're going to go ahead and attach your clasp. Now, what you want to do Sorry, let me get that focused. Okay, so you're just going to line them up. It doesn't matter what beads you choose to start attaching. But what you want to do, see over here, this strand is near the 8. This one is on an 8. The third one's on an 8. And the fourth one's on an 8. So actually it works perfect. So I would just attach them to the 8s. And if you want to add this, because what I did was I just sewed through the strand a few times, made sure it was secure. And then what I did was, here, I'll just show you. Like if I went through here, I'm running out of thread here. And I just put and make sure you keep this thing together. Don't take it apart and sew it on. You want to make sure you have this the right side when you put on the other side. And you're just going to go through here, then go back through the hole, go back through the 8, through the hole, back through the 8, through the hole, back through the 8. Do it as many times as you can, just leaving enough space so that when you've done all that, or you can put this on at the beginning and just pick up your 3mm and sew through. And what that's going to do is hide all your threads, and it's actually going to look really nice. So do that along the 4, reinforce, 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 because this is going to be open and close on somebody's wrist, and you don't want it to break off. And then once you've done that, you're going to be coming out of this 8 here, and I'm going to show you what to do, because you want the diagonals to be going this way down to mirror this side. Okay, so let me just add some more thread and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just added more thread here. You see my tails here, but I'll be cutting that off. Well, actually, I'll be cutting this piece apart later. But okay, so you did your strip here on the side, and they're all going at a diagonal this way. We want it to go, this side, to go diagonal this way. So here, just a second here. Before we were coming out, okay, I'm sorry. I am coming out of this 8 this way. Okay, before we were going out, well, we were going out the bead this way, and then we were going up like this, and then I put a diagonal like this. So now that I'm coming up this way, I'm going to be doing the opposite on this end. So I'm picking up a 15, a 3mm 15, and instead of going this way, I'm going up towards my work. So you're going up through this 8 right here. So it just popped that in on an angle. Now, well, I'm going to do that again. Pick up a 15, pick up a 3mm and a 15. And you're going to go up. So you're coming out this way, you're going up this way. And that's it. And you're going to go all the way down until you've added all your 3mm. And then when you get to the end of this, you put your clasp on this side. And once you get to the end, again, keep it attached. And then you would just attach it on the other side the same way. And then after we do that, there's just one last thing to do, and we're done our bracelet. So just go all the way down. So many color combinations you can do with this. So just play around with your beads, play around with the colors. You can make a summer one, a fall one, a spring. winter colors. And almost done. Okay, now I'm putting my last 3mm for here. Oof, and I got caught up over here. Okay, so there we have the center crystals or fire polish on your bracelet. You've attached your clasp over here. You're going to keep what you're going to do is just keep it attached like this, and then you'll do the same thing on this side. And once you have one attached, then you can take it apart and then finish these strands. Now the last step after you've attached your clasp, you're going to move your way down to the other side, and this is what's going to shrink up your bracelet. That's why we need to make sure that you're doing the proper length, and it's going to shrink up about, I would say, 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch when you do this, depending, of course, on the sides of the beads that we're going to be putting in on the side. So I'm going to go through these. I flip my work, I'm looking at it this side, and I'm going through these 2 11s. Now what's going to shrink it up a lot is if I put like these silver 11s I used, and I put them in there, and I'm going to just sew through, and I'm going to pull tight. Or you can use the 8s that we have here and put them in the middle, and this won't shrink up as much. So you're just going to do that down the side, all the way down, and all the way down the side. You're going to move down this way, all the way down the side. Then you're going to, with your needle, just weave in and out, tie off some 1/2 inch knots, weave, reinforce, and then cut your thread. And then you have your finished bracelet. Now this one I put 8s in the middle here, and this one I put 11s. And I'm going to show you the difference. Let me move out here. This one here, I did the same length netting that I did on this one. And look what the 8s and the 11s do. It shrunk it up quite a bit, the 11s. So I'm just going to hold it exactly. See how much it shrinks? And with the 8s, it didn't shrink as much. Or it didn't shrink at all, actually, with the 8s. With the 11s, it's going to shrink. Okay, so now that you know that it's going to shrink, make sure that you length it, do the length according to knowing that, okay? So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. My tutorials are usually like an hour long. I usually make a whole project, but in this one I just made my little piece. And I hope you learned something from that. With the netting, you can do all kinds of different embellishing on the top. You can even leave it like a netting. It looks pretty good, and put crystals where your 8s are instead of the 8s. So if you like this tutorial, give me a thumbs up. And if you think someone else might enjoy this tutorial, you can go ahead and share it. If you have any comments at all, or if you have any questions, please message me. Leave a comment here below, or you can message me at my Facebook page if you want to leave me a private message. I am here to help You know, I had a conversation with someone for 10 minutes in regards to a wire weave and back and forth. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys make jewelry and stick with it. So don't be shy. Send me a message. Thank you very much for watching. And if you want the written tutorial, I have it on my Etsy site at Biedermann Jewelry Shop. Not Biedermann Jewelry Shop, but on the Etsy, it's Biedermann Jewelry. My website is biedermannjewelryshop.com. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon with another tutorial. Bye.